For decades, one question defined every military crisis on the planet. Where are the carriers? It did not matter where the conflict was. It did not matter how far from the ocean. The moment tension rose anywhere in the world, that was the question that got asked in every defense ministry, every intelligence briefing, every war room on Earth. Because the answer told you everything. It told you who had the advantage. It told you who controlled the skies. It told you, with near total certainty, how the situation was going to end. That question still gets asked today. But the answer no longer guarantees what it used to. Over the past 3 decades, one country poured extraordinary resources into a single engineering problem. Not how to build a bigger navy. Not how to win a conventional arms race. Something more precise than that. How do you take the most powerful naval force ever assembled and make it strategically irrelevant, without ever firing a single shot in anger? That country is China, and what they built in the process will change how you see every ocean on Earth. Today we are looking at 3 weapons. Not 7, not 10, 3. Because these 3 taken together represent a complete strategic shift. A different kind of threat, one that did not exist 30 years ago and cannot be ignored today. By the time we reach the last one, the question you will be asking is not where the carriers are. It will be whether the carriers still matter at all. Number 3, the DF-21D, the missile born from humiliation. To understand what the DF-21D is, you have to understand what created it. In 1996, a serious military standoff developed in the waters near the Taiwan Strait. The United States made a decision. It deployed not 1 but 2 full carrier strike groups into the region, 2 floating airfields, dozens of aircraft, thousands of personnel, the most concentrated display of naval power the modern world had seen outside of a full-scale war. China had no answer, no weapon capable of threatening those ships, no system, no strategy, no response. The carriers sailed where they wanted, and China watched. That moment entered Chinese military thinking as a defining humiliation, and for the next 30 years, it drove one of the most focused weapons development programs in modern history. The result was the DF-21D. It is the world's first ballistic missile designed from the ground up with a single operational purpose: find and destroy a moving aircraft carrier in the open ocean. Conventional ballistic missiles follow a fixed arc. They go up, they come down, they hit a predetermined point. The DF-21D is fundamentally different. Its warhead is a maneuvering re-entry vehicle. It detaches at the top of its trajectory, drops back toward Earth from the edge of space, and actively steers itself during the final phase of flight, tracking the carrier as it moves and correcting its path to score a direct hit. The terminal velocity is enormous. The reaction window for ship-based defense systems is measured in seconds. The range is 1,500 kilometers. Deployed in significant numbers across eastern China, pointing toward the Pacific. And here is the detail that defense analysts return to repeatedly. There is no confirmed real-world intercept of this missile on record. Not in combat. Not in a live fire exercise against a realistic target. The United States has tested missile defense systems extensively. The maneuvering warhead of the DF-21D is a categorically different problem. China spent 30 years turning that 1996 humiliation into hardware. The hardware is real, it is deployed, and it works. Number 2, AI drone swarms. The math problem nobody has solved. In early 2026, Chinese state media released footage of a military demonstration that stopped defense analysts around the world cold. 1 soldier, 1 control unit, 200 AI-equipped attack drones in the air simultaneously, not surveillance drones, not reconnaissance platforms, one-way attack drones, meaning each one has a single mission: fly to the target and detonate. They are small, they are fast, they are cheap to produce at scale, and they carry onboard artificial intelligence that changes the fundamental problem they present. If you attempt to jam the communication signal between the operator and the swarm, the drones do not stop. They do not circle and wait for reconnection. They switch to fully autonomous mode and continue the mission. The AI takes over target selection and prosecution. No human in the loop, no signal to cut. Now apply that to a naval scenario. A carrier strike group at sea carries a finite number of interceptor missiles. Each interceptor represents a significant cost. Each drone in an attacking swarm represents a fraction of that cost. A coordinated swarm launch from multiple directions, involving hundreds or thousands of drones simultaneously, creates a mathematics problem that current naval defense architecture was not designed to solve. The interceptors run out before the incoming threats do. Not because the defense systems are poorly designed, because the cost ratio and the volume ratio are simply not favorable. It is an engineering reality, not a failure of strategy. The drone swarm does not need to be perfect. It does not need every unit to reach its target. It needs enough of them to exhaust the defense before the critical strike arrives. And right now, the numbers suggest it can. Number 1, the Type 003 Fujian. China stopped playing defense. Everything on this list so far has been a weapon designed to neutralize something American. A missile built to threaten carriers. A swarm built to overwhelm defenses. Every item pointed in one direction. The Type 003 Fujian points somewhere else entirely. Commissioned into active Chinese naval service in late 2025, the Fujian is not a carrier killer. It is a carrier, an 80,000-ton supercarrier built entirely in China, from Chinese engineering, carrying Chinese aircraft, and using electromagnetic catapult launch technology that exists on only one other vessel in the world, USS Gerald R. Ford, America's most advanced carrier. The Fujian carries the J-15T Advanced Naval Fighter and the J-35, a carrier-based stealth aircraft. The electromagnetic catapults allow heavier aircraft to launch more frequently, with greater precision and less mechanical stress than older steam-driven systems. China now operates 3 carriers in active service. The United States operates 11. But the gap that matters is not the current count. It is the production rate. The pace at which China is currently building naval vessels across every category from destroyers to submarines to carriers is something senior U.S. Navy officials have acknowledged openly. They cannot match with current shipbuilding capacity. The Fujian is not a threat in isolation. It is the leading edge of a fleet that is growing faster than the force designed to counter it. This is why the Fujian sits at the top of this list. The DF-21D is a powerful weapon. The drone swarm is a genuine strategic problem, but both of them are defensive in their logic. They were built to stop something. The Fujian was built to do something. China did not just invest in ways to sink carriers, it built its own. That is a fundamentally different strategic posture, and it changes every calculation about naval power in the Pacific for the next generation. The United States Navy remains the most experienced, most capable, most technologically sophisticated naval force on Earth. That is not a talking point. It is a documented reality supported by decades of operations, training, and investment. But the world that existed in 1996, where American carriers could project power anywhere on the planet without a credible countermeasure in sight, that world is gone. What replaced it is more complicated, more contested, and more interesting than most coverage suggests. 3 weapons, 30 years of development, and a set of questions that no defense planner anywhere has fully answered yet. If you want to understand where naval power is heading, subscribe, because this story is far from over.